as they come in, and we will begin in about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, I think. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you, Melanie. Welcome. Glad to have you here. We are just waiting for a few more people to log in and join us, and we'll begin earnestly in about 2, maybe 3 minutes. Just admitting people as they come in. We have quite a few people already. Really excited. 15 people. So in the next 2, maybe 3 minutes, we will start with the presentation. Thank you. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us. Like I said in the group chat, we're waiting for a few more people to join us, and we'll begin in about 1 minute. Really excited. Our guest is here, but she's hiding away, but she will show her face during the course of the conversation. But yeah, really excited. And just 1 more minute, guys, and we will begin earnestly. Okay, everyone, without further ado, I will begin. Thank you so much once again for joining us today. I'm sure I met a lot of people yesterday at the Empower Her Initiative SA CPUT, and people are joining from that background, and we're even more excited. I'm sure the other people as well from just having seen our socials, etc. We're all really excited to have you here. I will introduce myself. My name is Simphiwe Ngubane. I am the current president of the Golden Key CPUT chapter here for the 2022 to 2023 term. And today we are having our first Exceptional Woman at CPUT webinar with Ms Maphole Loke, who is a PhD candidate here at CPUT in the Department of Civil Engineering and Geomatics. and she's had an extraordinary journey from academics to personal to professional life, and she's really excited to share her journey with us, and we're really happy to have her here. So welcome again, everyone. So in terms of what I wanted to start with, a lot of people might not know what Golden Key is. I'll just give a brief introduction about what that is and who exactly is Golden Key. What exactly is that? So Golden Key is an international honor society, and it recognizes top performing students, undergrads and postgrads, and we are really committed towards enshrining the character of the person at university. So service projects, leadership, and continuous professional development for members. We are really gung ho on that initiative, and at CPUT we are really steadfastly working towards having so many projects. We already started. A lot of people might join us, and hopefully you guys do join us in our projects. So yeah, really exciting causes that Golden Key espouses, and yeah, just if you haven't heard about us, you're more than welcome to search goldenkey.org and read more about what Golden Key is. Right, guys. I don't know, Ms Loke. Hello, are you there? Are you there? Can you share your camera with us so that I can? There we go. There she is, guys. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. So everyone, this is Ms Maphole Loke. Today she is joining us, as I said, and she's really excited to share, her personal journey, her academic journey, and her professional journey. And we're just really happy to have her here. So I just want to read Ms Loke's bio for a second, just for anybody, so a few people might just know her accomplishments. So Ms Loke holds a master's degree in civil engineering and is currently enrolled for a doctoral degree in civil engineering structures. She is an academic published author of a number of research papers. She is also an award winner for the Sanral Psyche 2021 Zutari photo competition. She is involved in the following developmental roles in the Department of Civil Engineering and Geomatics, retention officer, where she monitors and mentors the first year experience mentors for first year students. She is a student coordinator in the departmental transformation working group that works towards achieving 7 focus areas of the CPUT Smart Vision 2030 strategy. She's also a research advisor and reviewer for both proposals and theses for her peers, a teaching assistant as well. She's doing incredible things, guys, as I'm sure you're listing. In addition to serving the Department of Civil Engineering and Geomatics, Ms Loke is partaking in the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment, Cultural Event Planning and Coordination, where she is appointed as the Program Director. She further extends her love for mentoring young upcoming engineers, scientists, and technologists by offering voluntary mentoring to a number of students at the University of Cape Town, and from her home institution, which is Lerotoli Polytechnic in Lesotho. As part of giving back to her country, Ms Loke sponsors the Best Student in Civil Engineering Award at Lerotoli Polytechnic. She is also a visiting lecturer at the South African Institute of Heritage Science and Conservation, and she is a businesswoman with a keen focus for fashion and property development. But when all is said and done, she prides herself on being a friend, a daughter, and a sister. Without further ado, guys, welcome Ms Maphole Loke. And Ms Loke, I don't know if you want to perhaps add a bit more on that brief bio that I just gave there.
No. That's all for now. There's still more to be done and edit on my bio.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So today we're going to be having a bit of a conversation. It's not going to be just Ms Loke just talking. I'm going to ask her a few questions, and she'll answer them as best she can. And at the end of the session, we're going to have a Q&A where people can voice their their ideas or their questions towards her and what she's doing. So yeah, Ms Loke, if I can just hand over to you, we're going to start with the personal journey side. We have a quote here by Oprah Winfrey, where there is no struggle, there is no strength. It's a quote that resonates so profoundly, especially in the context of Women's Month. At the moment, it's the last day of Women's Month, an incredibly important month. And woman empowerment is such an important characteristic today in the country that we live in, internationally as well. So it's always a great thing to see incredible women such as yourself doing incredible things. And the first question that I wanted to pose to you, perhaps, is where did you grow up, so that people have a bit of a background on who you are and where you come from?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ngubane. Thank you to Golden Key for having me, and thank you to everyone who's joining us today. So Maphole is a small girl back then in the 90s in the rural area of Dikgwele, Hasebutsi, which is a small village in the Mafeteng district, which is outside the capital city, which is Maseru in Lesotho. So I was born there. And then later I moved to Diatianing, which is abbreviated TY, whereby I started my schooling there. Studying at Diatianing Primary School, moving to St. Agnes High School, and then later moving to Lerotodi Polytechnic in Maseru. So I was born in Mafeteng. I stayed in Diatianing, and then I moved to Maseru to pursue my diploma in civil engineering. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Loke. That was brilliant. So we have a really great background on who you are and where you come from. The next question I wanted to ask you is, how did your upbringing shape who you are today? The influences that you had growing up, your grandparents, your mother, father, all the sort of environment that you were in, how did it shape the person that you are today?
Thank you so much. I'll start off by mentioning that my grandfather was the chief of our village. So I was a princess. I grew up in a royal family. But growing up, I have to mention that we didn't feel like we were of royal. We were made to work hard at a very young age. So my growing up was all about hard work, dedication. I remember some people still don't believe it, but at the age of 4, 5, we used to head cattle, sheep, and all that, fetch firewood, because that was the lifestyle in the community at that time. So I remember as I was growing up, I would realize that, okay, me and my cousins, which are also females, would all go to the fields, and everything that was done by everyone in the family, because we had servants, but we'll do work even though we had servants at the royal family. So for me, I remember as I was groomed to work harder, I learned the tricks. I had to learn to work smarter than harder. So I remember at some point when we were out heading cattle, sheep, I remember one instance whereby we lost one sheep. When we get to the house, my grandfather was like, okay, girls, go look for that sheep. It was bad. My cousins were crying. Everyone was crying, like, we don't know where it is because it's a dark community. There's no proper lighting at night. It's the deepest rural. People from Lesotho will understand. So I remember from that very young age, that's when I learned to use smart thinking. I remember the next morning, my cousins ran to go head the sheep. I was like, okay, I'm taking out the cows now. I'm heading the cattle. They couldn't understand, why are you taking the cattle and not the sheep? In my little mind back then, I was like, okay, this one's I can recognize if one cow goes missing compared to we have tens and tens of sheep. How will I realize when one is missing? Because yesterday we lost one sheep and I couldn't notice that one sheep was missing. So that was me being trained to kind of think smart. So I started thinking smart at a very young age. I started working very hard at a very young age. So I wasn't treated like a princess. We were all treated as equals in the family. We'll do all house chores and everything. Another thing that my upbringing kind of shaped me to what I am today, I would say it's growing up with my grandma. I remember she used to have, I would call them friends that were way out of her league. She would have friends from the principals, she would have business owners, and then me at a young age, I didn't understand. I'll be like, these people are putting so much pressure on you. Why do you have such friends? And then I remember one day, one friend of hers came to the house. She was telling us, no, if you want to extend the house, make it face this way so that you don't have to pay on heating. do this. This kind of curtains are better than those. Then when she left, I was like, this is too much pressure for us. When she left, my grandma was like, no, these are the kind of people I need in my life because they shape me, they build me. So from that, I took something from that. I was like, okay, from now going forward, I must have friends that I can learn something from, somebody I can look up to. Yes, I have friends in my level, but I want somebody who I can take something from. And that has been me since then. I want to have a circle of friends that can build me. And as women, I think we really need people who can build us, who can encourage us into wanting to achieve bigger things. Because those kind of friends, they used to tell her that, yes, you are not where you want to be, but you must keep dreaming. And I was like, come on, people. What do you mean she must keep dreaming? We are here and we are comfortable. But then I learned that, okay, you really need to have people who have achieved more that you look up to. So that was my upbringing, being surrounded by such environment. And then moving forward, I tried to, as much as I can, practice that into my life.
That is an incredible answer, and I'm sure it resonates with a lot of people as well. I mean, the three things I took from that were that you were groomed to work hard. You weren't treated specially because, again, you come from a royal family. You weren't treated specially. You had to work for everything that you got at home. And obviously that's extended to your academic life as well, where you don't especially in your academic life, you're not just given a degree, you're not given these qualifications, you're not given these opportunities. You have to work for them.
True, that is very true. So I was very grateful because I must add on that while I was growing up, obviously you complained like, we have servants here. Why do we have to go head the kettle? Why do we have to go fetch the water when we have servants?
Somebody's mic is open. Sorry. Okay, is this like a gone? I think I've muted you as well. Sorry, Ms Loke, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, Ms Loke. The mic has somehow been muted for everybody. Sorry, guys. We seem to have had a bit of a difficulty here. Just trying to get Ms Loke's microphone back on. Are you back?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly now. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Yes. As I was saying, I remember we used to complain about that kind of treatment. We used to think it was torture, but my granddad was like, everything I have, I've worked for. So even you guys, I'm grooming you to work for your things. So as time went on, I learned to realize that, rest his soul, he really did a good job at teaching us the power of hard work and doing things and earning things and not just getting things on a silver platter.
Ms. Loke, brilliant. That is an incredible thing. Again, the thing as well I wanted to emphasize was the aspect of entitlement. I think within our generation we have so many people that are entitled. They feel as though they deserve things. They don't have to work hard for it. You just get things automatically, and that's not how life works at the end of the day. You have to work for every single thing that you have. And one thing I also wanted to raise on what you said was you took from your environment. A lot of people don't appreciate what that means. Your environment may not be the greatest. You may come from a township, you may come from an impoverished background, but there are always elements within that background that you can take and nurture and use to make your life a meaningful one. Your grandparents, your parents, your friends, the books that you read, if you have books available to you, they all mold you essentially into the person that you want to become, hopefully, at the end of the day. If I can just pivot now to another question that might be a bit difficult to sort of answer, but it was a question that I think was really pertinent, especially considering that it is Women's Month, I should say. Does your lived experience as a woman in South Africa influence how you see the various situations that occur in this country, from gender-based violence to the fact that women have to effectively work a million times harder to have the opportunities that men do in many industries, commerce, for example, even science, especially in your field as a civil engineer. You have to really stand out of the crowd because it's a male-dominated area. So taking into consideration all of these things, does your experience as a woman in South Africa influence how you see things in South Africa as they are today? And also perhaps if you can talk about an international perspective as well, does it influence your outlook in that?
Oh, okay. On that, thank you so much again. I really am concerned about the gender-based violence. I think everyone is. So from my experience while I was in Europe, I remember telling some of my international friends that I met there that if there's one thing I long for South Africa and for Africa in general is the safety of women in Europe, or where I was mostly, because I wouldn't say generally because I don't know about other countries, but for me in Spain, where I was, in Italy, in Portugal, and in France, I felt so safe. I learned that for South Africa. I learned for South Africa where I can wear whatever I want to wear without the feeling that I'm attracting the perpetrators, or I don't have to walk at a certain time because now I'm putting my life on danger and exposing myself to gender-based violence. So I truly have to say we have a very long way to go. We have a long journey to go as Africa in general in terms of females and safety. But I think empowering the boy child will have a great impact on that also, because these perpetrators are someone's son. They have been exposed to some issues that we might not know of. So as much as we focus on women empowerment and all that, I believe even for males, we have to work on that as well.
That was a beautiful answer, and I want to perhaps make a bit of a plug. Yesterday, we Golden Key was at the Empower Her CPUT initiative, and this particular point was raised by a speaker about it's all very well to empower the woman in terms of all the stuff that we have, but there are men as well in the background, and these men have to be groomed to be the type of man that we need in our society. That's very important. It's a collaborative effort, and we need to work together towards enshrining the betterment of society. Women, fantastically, greatly so, and also making sure that the men are also, credible people, that they don't perpetrate these things and don't, devalue themselves and devalue the people that they are doing these horrible things to as well. A bit of a serious question there, but well, greatly answered by you. Thank you. The next question I wanted to ask you was, what advice would you give a young Maphole today looking to get to the place you are at today? What advice would you say to 8-year-old Maphole, not knowing, anything at all, but what advice would you give her?
Knowing what I know now and having gone through what I've gone through, I think the best thing I would tell that 8-year-old Maphole would be only compete with yourself and prove to yourself that you can make it. I'm only saying this because at the young age, I used to be so competitive, which is a good thing, I must say, but it has to have limits. And because sometimes we tend to focus on competition so much that if things don't go according to our plans, we get shattered to a point whereby you even forget your dreams. You feel somehow worthless, or you feel you cannot achieve it at the end of the day. So that young girl, I would tell her, compete with yourself, trust God's timing, because at first I would set timelines and be like, I want to do this at a certain time, and it didn't work like that. And I'll be very disappointed in myself. I would hate myself, which is not a good feeling. So I think when you embrace the power of patience, so now I know the value of patience. I embrace patience. I trust God's timing. I know when something is meant to happen, it will happen. Yes, I put my body, heart, mind, and soul into it. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't happen, I dust myself, get up and keep going and try again the following day. So I would tell that young me to learn the art of patience and just compete with yourself, not with other people, because that can get very dangerous if you are not careful. So, yes.
Patience. I love that word. It's a cliched word. We hear it all the time, but people don't incorporate it into their lives. You know, you're told from the very moment that you start doing something, just be patient with yourself. You know, it's okay if you don't get there in 5 years. It's okay if you don't get there in 1 year. Just focus on yourself, focus on your journey. Make sure that you're doing the very best thing that you can do for yourself as an individual, in reaching the goal that you want to. But don't compare yourself. Work on your journey. Work on yourself, and that's what you're doing so incredibly well.
That's true.
Yeah. The next question I wanted to ask you was, what are the structural barriers you've had to overcome in your young life, your very young life, as not only a woman but as a woman of color in this country? Do you feel?
Wow. I have to say, like many women in this field, in the engineering field, which is male dominated, at some point, yes, you face some gender stereotypes whereby your male juniors won't follow your instructions because you're a woman. It has been there. But for me, I developed this technique. I don't know if it's working or not, but I feel it's working. I don't get angry. I don't get sad. I try to educate such people that yes, you may have 20 years of experience. I may have 7, but I'm your junior. Like I try to come to an understanding of why because they are not used. This is a new thing of having females taking over, female being on leadership positions. It's a new thing, yes, I understand. So education is still needed to people who are used to, oh my goodness.
Your background changed. It looks perfect, by the way. Don't worry. Have you lost Ms Loke? Have you lost Ms Loke? It seems as though we've lost her for a second. Um, can Is she available? Is she okay, guys? While Ms Loke perhaps uh gets into the session again, hopefully. Oh, she disappeared. She disappeared. Okay, guys, you just have me to deal with. Right. So I'm really sure that you've gained a lot of perspective. Yeah, I'm sure we'll just wait for it to just be admitted again. But I'm sure everybody's been gleaning a lot of perspective in terms of Ms Maloke's personal journey. The things I've been taking from her were, you know, the aspect of just not feeling entitled, working on yourself, working on the type of person that you are at the end of the day, irrespective of what's going on around you. And one of the things that you were touching on just now was, you know, don't feel sorry for yourself. You know, you have value, you have worth as an individual, and you should constantly be trying to advocate for yourself, the best possible route to the success that you want to have. So it's an amazing personal journey. She's going to transition just now when she comes back in to her academic journey. A lot of people might be a bit you know, uncertain about, you know, what exactly does Ms Maphole do, and how she got to the place that she has gotten to. But she'll share that aspect with us, and we're really excited. I don't know if she's technology, guys. It's technology. We are struggling. We're struggling, and we're doing so well. But if you could just give us maybe a 1 minute or so, and we'll see how everything just goes. Right. To everybody that might have joined in a bit, okay, there she is. To everybody who might have joined a bit late, Golden Key, if you're not familiar with it, we are an international organization. We are an international collegiate society. So we honor academically performing students and people that are doing really well in their professional life. We wanted to really shine a light on, you know, exceptional women because it's Women's Month, and how critical it is to elevate, you know, women. I think Ms. Maphole, are you here? Are you back with us? I don't know if perhaps you're muted on your camera, but I think I saw you coming.
I just rejoined. I got cut, so I had to change and join using another laptop.
No,
Can you please unmute my camera, my video?
sure. If I could just see, can you speak so I can see which one you are? There you are.
Yes, I'm here.
You're there. You're there. Allow camera. There we go. Thank you. You have permission now, Ms Loke, if I'm not mistaken. Are you able to share a camera, or is it?
I think I have shared it again.
There we go.
All right. I'm so sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yes. We were discussing about, sorry, where were we again?
I can re-ask the question. Don't worry. I can re-ask the question. I was just serenading everybody a bit about just what I've been learning from my personal input, what you've been sharing. But the last question that I posed to you was, if I could just go back to it, the last question that I asked you was, what are the structural barriers you've had to overcome in your young life, as not only a woman but as a woman of color in South Africa, industry-wise and elsewise?
Okay, thank you so much. I think I was at a point where I was explaining that at some point I had to face the stereotype whereby some of the male juniors wouldn't take instructions from you as a female. But as I was saying, education is key. You put them down, explain the situation, that this is how it is. And again, when it comes to color, I haven't experienced any sort of discrimination or anything of a sort, except that as a female in the industry, I remember at some point when I was working, I wouldn't be allowed to go to site, and understandably, because my employers would be concerned about my safety. I'll be told that if you are on site, we don't feel comfortable with you going to site alone, so you have to go with a female colleague, a male colleague. Otherwise, you're not going to site, you're staying in the office because it's not safe out there for you. So this brings us back to the issue of safety for women in Africa in general. So other than that, it has been a great learning experience. It has been a great journey, because even though at first I would experience such things, I learned to build a name for myself, build the confidence that people can trust that I can do it on my own. I can do it as a female, even better. So yes, I have come to learn that and master that part. Yes, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. That was fantastic. We are at the part of the session where we're shifting to your academic life. I was just telling people before when you were dealing with your technical glitch.
Okay.
A lot of people might not be familiar with your academic journey, but given the fact that we are at CPUT and we are a university, we really wanted to shine a light on that. So I'm just going to shift the conversation towards your academic journey. Hopefully, people can see the slide there. You've had an incredibly, prowess journey, and we would love to know more about it. So the first question I want to pose to you, in light of your academic journey, is, just give it. You've had an incredible life, and your list of accomplishments and accolades are amazing. What has kept you motivated throughout your academic journey, from your first diploma to now being a pioneering PhD candidate here at CPUT?
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I was trained or made to work hard at a very young age. So that mentality is still in me even today. So the spirit of hard work is what I keep everywhere I go. So in addition to the spirit of working hard, I'm somebody who doesn't give up easily. So I'll share a bit of a background on my academic journey. It looks fancy, but it hasn't been fancy at all. It has been a very rough ride. It has been storms and everything. So first of all, when I was doing my diploma in civil engineering at Lerotori Polytechnic, Coming from high school, I was a straight A student. I was top of my class every year. Award ceremony, Maphole was there sweeping away all the awards. But first year in tertiary, did that Maphole who was sweeping awards not fail engineering maths first year? So it was the pressure of coming to a big city because I was living outside of the big city, which is Maseru. Now there was a whole new method of teaching, which was different from what I was used to in high school. There was peer pressure. There was everything that I wish I had somebody to tell me about it or to guide me through before I got there. So that was the first glitch. And I remember people telling me, because there was a bit of an argument between myself, my family, okay, you should go study teaching, you could go study agriculture, whatnot. But I was like, okay, I want to study civil engineering because when I was a young girl, I knew that, okay, my community is disadvantaged. We don't have electricity, we don't have proper roads, we don't have proper facilities like sanitary facilities, we don't have all the developments in the urban areas. So my main dream and aim was to one day uplift my community in a way or another. So when people were telling me to change career, because now you see, you're going to do engineering maths for the rest of your life if you are into engineering, so please change to something that you can manage. My spirit of resilience was like, no, I'll repeat it until I make it. So I managed to make it through. Now, after that, I felt the need to now go back to school and then do my bachelor's technology, which is BTech in civil engineering. That was after realizing that, okay, there's too much competition. Everyone now holds a diploma. I have to stand out now out of the crowd. That's when I decided to go back to school and then do my bachelor's technology. After that, again, I went back to find a job. So I was working. And again, the urge to again stand out from the crowd, because now I thought everyone had a diploma. Now everyone has a BTech. Okay, let me go have a master's degree. Doing this was part of me empowering other people that, okay, you may come from that background, that small village, but you can make it out of that village, do something out of your life, and yes, achieve something bigger. That's when I went for my master's degree. And I must mention that while I was doing my master's degree, I remember coming to Cape Town in 2018. The last time I was in Cape Town was 2016 when I was doing my bachelor's technology. I came back to Cape Town, and leaving home, I knew I had a supervisor here. But when I got here, I had received already a loan bursary from the government of the Kingdom of Lesotho. So we get loan bursaries. I had a loan bursary, but when I get here, there's no supervisor. My supervisor resigned. I was shattered. I was disappointed. Like, okay, I already signed a contract for the loan bursary. What do I do now? And then I remember having a chat with my then co-supervisor, which is Prof. Haldenbaum, who was like, okay, there's this other supervisor that I can introduce you to. Let's see how it goes. Then I was introduced to Prof. Kuma Palav. It's funny how everything turned out from I had a supervisor to I don't have a supervisor to now I have another supervisor, and we're going still strong, and we have achieved so much in this journey. So I would love to, part of the hiccups along the road, I remember as I was about to start my experiments, while my research is focusing on the restoration of heritage buildings, I'm working on the Castle of Good Hope and Robben Island. I remember when I had to now begin my experiments, usually I would take a ferry from the Nelson Mandela Aquarium to the Robben Island. I remember this first time now when I have to go and collect some materials for experiments. Now, the weather is so bad. There's no ferry going to Robben Island. I think that happened for a good 2 months. Every day that I said to go to Robben Island, the weather was bad. I could not go to Robben Island. So for people who are doing research or have been exposed to research, you can imagine the frustration of a 2 months delay because of things that are not even you can't control them. I remember calling one of my friends like, okay, girl, now I don't know what to do. She then sat me down, reminded me of the serenity prayer. She's like, girl, learn to accept the things you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I was like, okay, now the weather is not in my control. I remember again, the day now the weather is allowing, permitting, everything is good and well. Now I get there, I don't have a ticket to ride a ferry to Robben Island. Another frustration. Okay, 2 months is the weather. Now on the 3rd month, the weather is perfect. The sunrise and everything in Cape Town is good. Ms Loke doesn't have a ticket. And sadly, I couldn't just buy a ticket and go. I couldn't afford it, I must say. I couldn't afford a ticket to Robben Island. So I would get a free ticket from the South African Heritage Resources Agency. And well, even if I could afford it, I could not use the visitor's ticket to go do some work on the island. It doesn't work like that. So I remember that other time, there was a team from the South African Institute of Heritage Science and Conservation. It was going to the island also to do some restoration work there. So I was there, left behind by the ferry, heartbroken, tears down my cheek, like, okay, so this is never gonna happen. I remember, I think a few days later, I received an email from the chairman of the board from the South African Institute of Heritage Science and Conservation. And then he's inviting me. Apparently, he was aware that I was left behind by the ferry to the island. So he's inviting me to the institute to expose me to this work of heritage conservation because it's what they specialize in. I'm just a civil engineer. I'm trying to make my way into this field. So I was like, okay, so this is what happens when you accept the things you cannot change. Bigger things come your way. So from that interaction, they left me behind at the island. They wished I could join them, but I couldn't because there's no ticket. And then to now being recognized by the chairman of this institute, Mr. Botha, thank you so much. So from that, that's when the whole introduction happened. And then I've been invited to be a visiting lecturer at the institute. So that's how everything played out. And now later, I enrolled for a PhD. Before I enrolled for the PhD, I must mention the whole trip of studying this master's. As I came to Cape Town, I just literally no appointment, nothing. I barged into the office of the manager of the built environment at the South African Heritage Resources Agency, which is Mr. Masinga. So the South African Heritage Resources Agency is the agency by the Ministry of Sports, Arts and Culture in South Africa, which works with protection of the heritage in South Africa. So you're Maphole, you're from Lesotho, you don't know Cape Town. You want this so bad that you don't even follow protocol. You don't set an appointment, you just knock at the door. You're like, okay, this is what we are trying to do. We don't know where to go. We don't know who to speak to. And then doors opened. So by mentioning this, I'm trying to tell somebody who's thinking the door is closed, you just walk past it. You might knock and it might be open. You never know. So for me, I think I knocked at the right time, but I still think not knocking is the saddest thing you can do because you don't know what lies behind that door. So for me, I just knocked and it opened. And as we speak, CPUT through the Department of Civil Engineering and Geomatics has formed a formal collaboration with the South African Heritage Resources Agency, whereby the two institutions are working towards the restoration of heritage buildings in South Africa. So it started from that knock, unofficial and everything, and now it is a formal signed agreement between the two institutions. So in all that, I have seen the power of, again, patience, because there were delays, there was everything that wasn't going my way, but I remained patient. I kept pushing, I kept knocking at the doors, I kept trying again until it happened. So it doesn't usually just happen. You have to work towards it happening. So moving on to the doctoral degree, after completing the master's, that's when we were like, okay, we have done the first stage of the research. We have characterized the original materials. Now let's move further into now designing the new mortars to be used on the Robben Island, on the buildings on Robben Island, which is one of the worldwide significant heritage site in like globally. So that is a big deal for me and the big deal for us as CPUT and as SARA and the Department of Arts, Sports, Arts and Culture. So now I enrolled for doctoral degree. Now I see on this onogram there's research exchange to University of Granada. So after I enrolled for my doctoral degree, I remember my supervisor mentioning that, okay, I want you to gain international exposure. This is new in South Africa. The whole concept of heritage restoration is new in South Africa and mostly in African continent. So I want you to be one day pioneering this whole idea so you can learn a lot from Spain because Spain is advanced in conservation of heritage structures. That's when he initiated the invite. He spoke to my now external co-supervisor, which is Prof. Caltron, who is from the University of Granada. And then an invite was sent to me to go and do some of my experiments at the university. When it was all happening, when I was told that this is what we train to do, I was like, do I even deserve this? Can I even do it? You know, self-doubt comes in and all that. But at the end of the day, I come back to myself. I'm like, yes, you've put your mind, body, and soul into this. You deserve it. No one deserves it than you. So you can do it. You can do it, Black Child. So at the end of the day, I received the travel grant from CPUT. And then all expenses paid, I left in May, and then I came back the beginning of August, whereby I was doing my experiments at the University of Granada in Spain. So that's generally my journey.
That's lovely. And I'm sure people are really gaining a lot of nuggets of wisdom there. I mean, what I'm taking away is never give up easily. That's the most important thing. Never give up easily. Whatever the circumstances are, however difficult it is. I mean, you've had so many hurdles along the way, but despite all of them, you said no. Just keep on going. And the profound sentiment about just knock on the door, and if it's not opening, just keep on going, or just keep on knocking, or maybe there's a different door available to you that you might be able to push down. It's all about resilience and determination, and I really take that to heart. It's such an important message, and I really feel as though it's an emphatic one. And the idea of self-doubt, I mean, that creeps into every aspect of our lives. I mean, we think we don't deserve to be there. We think we're not good enough. But at the end of the day, if you commit to yourself and you say, I'm determined, I'm going to keep on going, despite what people say, despite what my inner doubts are saying, I'm going to persevere and be determined in the path that I'm going towards. And you're embodying that, and it's such a pleasure to witness that. And we're so proud of your recent trip to Spain. It's an incredible opportunity, and I know it's an invaluable experience that will shape your perspective moving forward. So thank you for that bit of input there. The next question I want.
One point there about Spain. I remember at some point in 2020, I received, I wrote an article, a conference paper, which was accepted to be presented in Barcelona. That was 2020. And then COVID happened. So you can imagine my disappointment again that, okay, after all this hard work, I got an opportunity to go overseas and present my idea, but now there's COVID. But again, patience happened, and now I had to go again in 2020. I'm back again in Spain, and it's happening eventually. So it's funny how sometimes things just work out. Yeah.
Yeah, things always work out in the end, I think. The stars aligned. I mean, at first it didn't work out, and then it did. and that exposure in the beginning was imperative for the the ultimate expedition that you ultimately got. I mean, it's always the thing, stars aligning, and opportunity, and all these things. That's an incredible message. Just never give up and just keep on going. Next question I wanted to ask you was, what tips and tricks to studying and managing your time that you can say shaped your current system of approach as an academic and as a person?
Okay. What I practice mostly is I don't procrastinate. I don't say I'll do it tomorrow. If something is given now to be done, I do it now and be done with it, move on to the next task. And again, I prioritize. I know what comes first and then what comes last. So I wouldn't just jinx everything, mix everything and hope for the best. No, I know that I'm here to complete my PhD. As much as I want to gain experience on teaching assistant or whatever, but my priorities are set straight. So prioritizing is key for me. And yes, that's basically that. Yes, I can have fun here and there in Cape Town, but what's the priority? Complete my PhD.
Beautiful. I think this is something that we've spoken aside, some advice you've given me. Prioritization is so important. I mean, you can be involved in a million different things, but if you don't know what to prioritize and what to make important, at the end of the day, you will fail at everything. So if it's academic and if it's something else and something else and something else, what's the most important in that mix? And then you compartmentalize your life accordingly. And that's the lesson that I'm taking from you at the moment, and you are certainly advising me on personally. The next question I wanted to ask you, do you think there's a blueprint for academic success, or do you think it depends on each person? Is there like a set recipe that we need to follow in order to gain academic success, or does it depend on each person?
For me, I think not just academically, success in general. What works for me might not work for you. So I believe everyone has different approach. But so far, what I've realized that it could be the blueprint in all this, in every success. I think hard work, it sounds cliche to say hard work, but what is this hard work? For me, I believe in consistency. Consistency is key in any, whether academic, business, any form of success, you need consistency. For me, that's what I've realized, that this could be what we call a blueprint in all this: consistency and just hard work and dedication.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that. Consistency and hard work and determinism. Okay. Those were my three main questions that I wanted to ask for your academic journey, and they've been very they've been very illuminating to me personally, and hopefully to everybody here. I want to pivot now to the last part of your journey, which is your professional side, as a person, as a woman, and all the other hats that you wear. If I can just transition the slide here, so that people can see some of the list of accomplishments that you have under your belt. And not all of them, by the way. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just some of them. I mean, I read a few of them in the beginning in your bio, but you can see the list of accomplishments that Ms Maphole Loke has, and they are incredible. First question I wanted to pose to you in your professional journey, side of things, was, what is the transition like from university to the workplace? And more interestingly, in your case, how has juggling both dynamics of academics and working in the various roles you've had, whether part-time or full-time?
Thank you so much. From my experience, I have learned to realize that the work environment and the academics environment are way different. Yes, you need the academics to progress at the work environment. But from what I've learned is you never stop learning. You learn from even the laborer on site. You learn something from somebody who's very junior to you. You learn every day. So for me, what I can say is, even though work has more challenges than the academics from my experience, but what I can say is, even from people that have your qualification, you can learn so much and be open to advice. I've realized that some people don't take advice quite well. They don't take criticism so well. For me, I'm always open to constructive criticism. I take so well to that. And it shapes me to what I want to be, because I don't believe I know it. I know everything. I believe I have weaknesses and I have weak points where somebody from somewhere might just add value to whatever I'm doing. And I am open to that. So for me, I think as you move from university, you should go to the industry working with an open mind to learn. Don't say, I know these things from university. No one can tell me anything. It doesn't work like that. You get there, you realize you know nothing, actually. That's just how it is. So being open to learn and be open to being advised, taking in advice and using that, it's key for me.
No, that's beautiful. And I think it's something that a lot of people can resonate with. I mean, sometimes, you know, the manner in which advice comes across from a lot of people, you know, they come across maybe bellicose or maybe not in a way that you would like or appreciate. But it's what you hear in that moment. Is this person trying to destroy me? Are they trying to elevate me? If it's either one, whatever it is, what can I do as a person to try and make sure that I am better at the end of the day? Because sometimes criticism, however unpleasant it is, has some truth in it, and you need to determine whether or not it's effective in the long run for you to change an aspect of your character, to make yourself better. And yeah, that's a beautiful message there. The next question I wanted to ask was, can you speak about the importance of being a mentor, and perhaps more especially how critical it is to be mentored in life?
From what I've realized, like I mentioned to you, when I arrived in the tertiary institution, my first degree, which was my diploma in civil engineering, I didn't have any form of guidance. I was guiding myself. My peers were guiding me, which was the blind leading the blind. So everything was just blur and everything. So for me, I've come to realize that had I had a mentor back then, I would have been maybe five steps ahead of where I am now. So it is good to learn from people who have done it before. It's good to have people lead you, people who have been there before, to guide you through it. And then it makes life so easy. So for me, I truly prefer to have a mentor and prefer to be guided by some people who have done it before me, because I'm still learning. We are all still learning. I'm sure even my mentor has a mentor. So it's like that. Yes, we learn from other people as we go. So I really truly value the importance of mentorship.
No, that's lovely. And again, I want to piggyback on the event yesterday that was hosted at the sports hall at Melbourne campus, the Empower Her SA initiative. This was spoken about ad nauseum by one professor. I forget her name. Somebody might be able to remind me. But the aspect of it's not just you being a mentor your entire life, or you being a mentor in your academic and professional life. You're always playing both parts and both roles. You are a mentor and you are a mentee sometimes. Different people in different ways. Even the people, if you are a mentor yourself, even your mentees, sometimes you learn so many things from them. So that dynamic is always changing, and it's how receptive towards learning you are as a person that really is definitive, and what makes you a better person at the end of the day. Beautiful message there. I think the final question that I wanted to ask you was, how can we address the disparities that exist for women in not just your industry, which is civil engineering, but elsewhere as well?
Okay. For me, I believe that training female leaders will really take us a long way. But after training them, then what? What I've realized for us women, which is a challenge that is facing the entire gender, and I want to challenge every woman in this platform and every woman you talk to after this, that I really encourage us to empower. After being empowered, try to empower others. there's this tendency of us women of dragging each other down, which is very sad for me. It's very sad that you realize that the only people you expect to lift you up are the people who are actually dragging you down. So I really truly believe that one day, as women would try to lift each other up, empower each other, because we are already facing external forces and all that. But now when it's us women dragging each other down, it's really sad. So for me, I believe that building in confidence in the young girls, making sure that they are aware that, yes, because what I've realized is we shouldn't teach people that there are no challenges. No, 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 there are challenges, but how do you deal with challenges? Making them aware that challenges were there and will always be there. But now what do you do when you face challenges? Do you sit down, cry and weep the whole night and day? Or do you work towards addressing such challenges? So I think instilling that in our girls that, yes, life is all about challenges, but is it about challenges, cry, die there and whatever? No, it's about dust yourself, work towards conquering such challenges and move on. So for me, that's a whole message to other women, from one woman to other women. Let's empower each other. Let's not drag each other down. Sorry, I think you're muted. Yes.
Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry, thank you. That is a beautiful message to end my part of the questions to you. Just empower each other, as
Sure.
women, as men, as well, most importantly men. But just empower each other to do better in life, and we are heading in the right direction. Everyone, there is a Q&A session. If you have any questions, I think you are able to unmute yourself and ask and pose a question. If there aren't any questions, I'll give it maybe a minute or so. If there are no further questions, I may just jump in and ask one additional question that I may have now. But if there are questions, please either write them in the chat or unmute yourself or put your hand up and we'll address them. I know we're going a bit over time, I should say. But if you do have any questions, we'll certainly get to them. One question that I wanted to pose to you, Ms Loke, was what's next for you? I know it's a very difficult question to ask, but what is next for you? Where do you see yourself going? When, not if, when you finish this. Not if, when you finish this particular chapter, the academic part.
Okay, for Ms Loke, from here, she has to complete her PhD next year, early next year. That's the target, God's willing, if everything goes well and good. So apart from that, I think I'm on a journey to empowering myself as a leader. So I see myself as a leader in few years to come. And again, I'm on a journey to empower young girls and guys. So I'm all about empowering other people. So that's basically my main focus at the moment and in a few years to come. And again, it wouldn't be bad to one day become a Professor Loke. That would be nice. So we shouldn't just say it will be nice and then don't work on it. So we're working towards that, working very hard towards that. So yes, that's the target moving forward.
Lovely. That's a beautiful thing. Everyone, there don't seem to be any questions coming through, which is perfectly fine. I'm sure Ms Loke has shared. Yes. There's a hand up. I can't quite see who it's from. But you're welcome to unmute yourself if you can. I don't know if you're able to unmute yourself, but if you're able to unmute yourself, please go ahead.
Yes, I've just unmuted myself. My name is Seatla Morojele, and Maphole used to be my former intern, and so I'm not going to say a lot. I'm saying halala Maphole, long live Maphole, and keep it up, my girl. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Seatla. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Can I please have Mr. or Mrs. Kumar? You're welcome to unmute yourself and share.
Yeah, sure. I just want to add, she's amazing, and she's a very hardworking woman whom I supervise internationally. And I am sure that she's going to achieve what she want in her life. And I wish and I pray for her to be a successful woman and who take a lead to empower the women in South Africa and African continent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well done, Loke.
Thank you so much, Prof. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for that, sir. Can I have Mr. or Mrs. Mohanje? You're more than welcome to unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi everyone. It's just a congratulatory message to Dr. Loke to be. Well done, lady. You've done good for yourself, and yeah, keep doing good and empowering other ladies and the boy child as well. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mohajani. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Mohanje. Thank you very much. The next question or hand that I can see is Mr. or Mrs. Choya. Sorry, forgive me for mispronouncing your surname. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. It's Nsijwa Koma. I am a student in civil engineering, and just listening to Ms Loke speaking is so inspiring because listening to her story, I'm from Lesotho as well. I relate a lot, and a lot of young girls, young ladies can relate. And thank you so much. Your story is inspiring, and there's a lot of lessons from your talk today. And yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nsijwa.
Thank you for that. Thank you everybody for those kind words to Ms. Loke. She really appreciates them. I certainly echo each and every one of them. She's an incredible person, an incredible woman, and we're so grateful to have had her here. Mr. or Mrs. Rayner, please go ahead. Sorry, Ms. Rayner Halden Wang, welcome to you.
I'm sorry, I've muted myself. Yeah, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I've been on monitoring and checking Maphole's journey since she joined CPUT as a BTech student, supervising her at BTech level and M level, and I've seen her grow, and I've seen her develop from somebody who was not very sure of herself to this very accomplished woman. And it's just wonderful to see students that you're part of a mentoring process, to see them develop and being able to go international and stand out. And I wish her everything of the best in the rest of her journey. It's only been an honor being part of this process, and it's so wonderful to see her develop and grow. Well done, and all the best to you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Haldenwang. I truly appreciate that, and the grooming and everything you've been doing for us. We truly appreciate all your efforts, your contributions, and your critical reviews, your critics. It really has shaped me to a woman I am today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, Professor, thank you so much for that input. It's really great. Everyone, I think that's about it. We've gone well over time, but I'd like to just give Ms. Loke a final opportunity to say any last words, and then I will just give a vote of thanks to everybody. But Ms. Loke, just over to you. Any final words that you might want to share with us? And thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I think my last words will be, yes, you can move from a village to a city, or from a village to a town, from a town to a city, from one city to one country, and it's possible to move from one country to a continent, a whole new continent. So it's possible for anyone at any time given. It is so possible. I've seen that it's possible. That's all I have to say.
It is possible. That's the lovely words. It is possible. It is always
It is
possible.
so possible. Yes.
Whatever your circumstances, whatever you're going through, it is always possible. Just work hard, keep on going, determined, and believe above always. Lovely message. On my part, I'd like to say thank you so much, Ms Loke, for joining us today for an hour and 10 minutes. We really appreciate your time. It's been an informative, illuminating, exciting, really incredible opportunity to have you here in our first ever Exceptional Woman at CPUT webinar, Golden Key, and we're really excited to propel this particular webinar and series forward, showcasing all the exceptional women that are part of our community here at CPUT. And you used a lovely word there. You are a pioneer. You are a pioneer in this aspect. But there's another word that I'd like to apportion to you, which is trailblazer. You are a pioneer and also a trailblazer, not just in your field, but also here with us. And we hope you continue that forward. On my part, as president of GK of Golden Key CPUT, thank you so much everybody for joining us today. Really appreciate your time to just come here and join us and listen to us. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to having more of these and hopefully you guys joining us. But thank you so much for your time, and that is the end of our session. If you have any more questions or any more comments you'd like to share with Ms Loke, you're more than able to do so. But that is us for today. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ngubane. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.